a letter to the faithful. Ephesians, this wonderful portion of God's Word that just gives us wonderful insight into God's relationship with humanity. And it talks about to the faithful, to those who are filled with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places. We talked about that yesterday on the broadcast, about this wonderful hope that we have eternal life forever in heaven with our Father and with His blessed Son. And oh, how the Revelation gives us such a wonderful description of all of this. But then in verse 4, it talks about God's wonderful plan. It talks about how that God laid it all out before the foundations of the world. We don't often think about God as the great planner, the great architect of all the things that we experience here on this earth. God put it all into motion. And to say this also, that God has great knowledge of things that we don't know about. And now, even today, and we're living in an age of great knowledge and learning, and we're learning more every day, there are still secrets that God has about this earth, about this planet, about the human body, all the things that will be eventually revealed to us. God knows it all. And then you go back into history, and you think about in certain generations and things that people struggled with, when all along there was these secrets that if they had known, things would have been totally different. I think about those who took the wagon trains west. You read about this in history, how that they struck out to go to California and to Oregon, and they loaded up in these wagons, horse-drawn or drawn by an oxen, and followed those all the way across the West. And movies, you've seen movies about this, and the women and the children walk, and the men walking day after day after day, with the sun barreling down on them, maybe making 10, 12 miles a day, all across the United States. And when all of this was going on, God knew there was something called an airplane. I mean, you think about this, and I do sometimes when I cross the United States. And I think about getting on an airplane in Atlanta and flying out to California. You can do it in about 4 hours, and you can be there. And that same area that you're flying over, at one time there were these people who were just trudging along. And all the while, there was this knowledge about the aeroplane or about the train or automobiles, but they didn't know. You see, God knows. He knows all about those things. He knows about every generation. He knows about the things to come. God is the master planner, and God has plans for His church and for those who live holy before Him. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.